Yes, perfect.
Okay.
What I wanted to do this time was to concentrate on the years at Stanford. And that's about as far as we got last time, because we were talking about your father's move to Stanford, and then the thing that you were talking about when we ended was the number of things that he did at Stanford that nobody recognized. He was simply not the controller, but he did a number of other things as well.
I think we got through that.
I think we did too.
Okay.
Is
Then what I'd like to
father?
do, yes.
You said he
was.
wasn't coming home in case it was misunderstood. He was not planning to get it.
Well, he snuck by very, very well, I thought. I'm sure he'll shut himself in someplace.
Well, it's a good thing we closed the kitchen. He can eat.
Good point. What I'd like to talk about then was, first of all, his official capacity. I think we talked about his time at Stanford University as a student, and then the fact that he had left and that you had lived in San Francisco for a period of time, and then the decision was actually made that he would return to Stanford and leave private practice, right? Was that a difficult decision to make?
Oh, I'm sure it was, because he was just at the beginning of his law career.
With one of the best firms in the city.
Right.
And I imagine it was a very tough decision, and I imagine that Mother was much involved because she probably would love to go back to Stanford.
What about from an economic standpoint?
Oh,
The difference it would mean in the lifestyle that they would live as opposed to being a top lawyer in San Francisco versus
oh,
on the
But
farm.
he hadn't reached the top level yet.
No, but
He would have,
with expectations that at some
He
point in
would
his
have.
he would
career,
have probably pretty quickly.
then what was that a consideration? I mean, value-laden consideration that hey, this
Not that
is.
we knew about, but it must have been between Mother and Dad.
But you never heard anything about it
No.
from them discussing it. What about your mother? Was prestige important to her in terms of being recognized as socially prominent?
no. As a matter of
Yeah,
fact,
but-
that was something she was just very adamant about. She always was. She didn't want to be classed that way.
Well, what about the Hayes family in general? I think that wasn't there at least some sociability within the family because they were a prominent social family in San Jose.
Oh, sure, but they never tried
never.
to be
Never as we were
the
putting it.
social leaders, this sort of thing. It might have come naturally, but there was no effort.
I would say, though, in Palo Alto, they were certainly socially prominent. It was that they didn't make an attempt to be socially
That's right.
prominent. They
This
were
was
because of the
not
nature of their lives.
This was not one of their priorities.
Okay, and I take
Can
it,
we turn to him?
yeah, I take it both of you feel the same way in terms of the way you were being raised, that was not an important consideration. Would you agree with that, Betty?
Absolutely.
Did you think that was as a result of the way your parents looked at the world?
Well, not only our parents, I think that a lot of it came from our grandparents who, in spite of their prominence and prestige, lived a very simple life comparatively
Wholesome,
speaking.
let's say.
Very wholesome compared to what the Crockers, for instance, were
Right.
living.
I wouldn't say simple. That's not the word I would use.
Well, it was, Jim, in a way.
In a way, it depends on what you're talking about and how you define simple.
All right. Simple in terms of values
Yeah.
as opposed to in terms of possessions, because certainly in terms of possessions, they did not lead a simple life.
Well, that's true compared to other people, except that this wasn't the most important thing in their lives.
No.
And they were not flashy about their possessions.
Never.
The flashiest thing probably were their cars.
Okay, but that certainly they were flashy in terms of the cars they had.
Well, it's part of personality because it went back before the cars, because Mother used to tell us about how our grandfather always had the slickest team or the nicest horse or he loved it. Well, he was a little dashing, I'm sure, when he
Well,
was
look
young.
at him. He was a very handsome man.
When the earliest memories you have, you said you had early memories of San Francisco,
Yes.
right? What about the earliest memories you have of Stanford? Where did you first live when you went back to Stanford?
In the
We
house
always
that we
lived.
always lived in.
Now, whose house was that before you moved into
It
it?
was somebody who was employed by the university who didn't have Dad's job because Dad's job was created when he went back there, but who did something.
I don't remember.
I even used to remember his name, but it's not important. And of course it was, a much